Coach, we are ready whenever you are.
Okay, good. So the only person that didn't practice today was Tyron, but he's in the protocol, so doing very well. We'll just see how he does tomorrow, and there's a chance if everything works out, then he'll be able to get back. So we look forward to the challenge of playing Cincinnati. We know they're a heck of a football team. Zach does a great job with that, with the team. They play hard and aggressive. Again, I look forward to playing here at Arrowhead. I know it'll be rocking. So, anyways, with that, time's yours.
Go first to Herbie Tiopi. Go ahead, Herbie.
And Coach, specific to injuries, how did Rashad Fenton and also Darrell Williams look to you out there? And do you project them to probably be available for this week?
Yeah, they did good today. Yeah, they moved around good.
Let's go next to Adam Pesher. Go ahead, Adam.
You know, Pat and Kelsey were talking after the game about sort of improvising on that play right before the field goal late in the fourth quarter. We're just wondering how much freedom you give to your players to do things like that, to sort of improvise and sort of make up their own routes. And do you like that even when maybe it doesn't even work sometimes? You like seeing that creativity. And Brad, I'll have a second question as well.
Yeah, they know that at times there's things that they can do, and they're normally right at them. So that one worked out good.
Okay, how often does that happen in a given game? And I'm not just talking about a route adjustment or something like that. I'm talking about where they sort of kind of go off on a different page.
Yeah, well, it's not. I mean, he was going in that direction anyway, so it was just how he got there. So that was he did a nice job. They both did a nice job with it. So it doesn't happen very often, but when they do, they're normally right with that type of thing. So they know the plays, and they know what they can get away with them and what they can't. They're very good with that.
Coach, it was a big storyline all year with Patrick Mahomes having to adjust to the too high. I know there were some early frustrations there, and it seems like he's made it through. When did you start to see that turn, and how and what signs did maybe you see, okay, now I can feel like he's getting it there?
Yeah, well, listen, he has, he's done a good job with it. We were seeing a little bit more man beforehand when he was young, and now we're seeing zones with man mixed in. This group here does everything. So you can't go in and just go, all right, they're going to play shell and go with it. They've got a bunch of shell coverages. They've got single safety middle coverage, a handful of zone ones, and a handful of man ones. So, and that's really, if you really looked at it, that's when mixing them. But it was a matter of just sorting it out. He did a nice job. It's all part of the maturation process, making sure that with the offense, making sure that the offensive line's on the same page, the receivers are on the same page, and quarterbacks on the same page with all of them, including the running back. So I think they all adjusted well. It's not really one guy, although it falls in his lap because he's a quarterback, but it's a little bit of everybody.
Next to Seren Petro. Go ahead, Seren.
Coach, I'm just curious what your thoughts are as far as how well Joe Burrow handles pressure. He's been under a lot of it. He was sacked 9 times in the last game and still managed to keep from turning the ball over. How rare is that, and how impressive is he in that category?
Yeah, well, listen, I think these young quarterbacks are great for this league. He's one of them. So he's a heck of a football player, and he does a nice job with those guys, and Zach does a nice job with them, along with their coordinator and coaches. So he's a coach's kid that knows the game and kind of gets it.
Let's go next to James Palmer. Go ahead, James.
Hey, Andy, hope you're doing well. I'm wondering about your 2 rookie offensive linemen, and the 2 parts I have for you are how are you managing them this late in the season with Trey and Creed, and kind of this is the longest they've ever played. And then the other part is, what part of the season did you realize they'd be playing at this level and you could rely on them the way you have?
Yeah, well, you saw the potential during training camp, and then just getting them through the year would be the next challenge. But you could see that they were good players. That you knew there were going to be experiences that they went through that they had never been through before, but they sure have handled it nice. Andy Heck, I think they're lucky to have Andy, who's been through it himself as a player and as a coach, and so he helped guide them. And when they needed a blow, they got a blow, and not many. So during practice, but he does a rotation with all the guys. And I think that helps the guys throughout the year.
Let's go next to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Andy, you mentioned after the game you mentioned Monday that pretty quickly after the game, you had already moved on and started looking to Cincinnati. At what point do you feel, when the players came in, did you feel like they were already there? Is that part of the conversation you have this week after an emotional win?
Yeah, well, they've all were saying it after the game. They were excited about that game. But they said, we still got another game here that we got to get ready for. So enjoy the moment, but it's time, we got to move on. So it wasn't just me saying it. It was Pat and the badge, everybody, they were all speaking that when they came in here. So they knew that, this thing moves fast, and you're on to the next one pretty quick.
For the last two, go Vahe and then Matt. Go ahead, Vahe.
Hey, Andy. I know chemistry is an intangible thing, of course, but I wonder if you have any way to describe the sort of connectivity that you see among Patrick, Travis, and Tyreek in particular, because it seems pretty distinct from things most of us have ever seen before.
Yeah, it's special. I mean, they all three of them trust each other, and that's important. They kind of have that innate ability to know where the guy's going to be against whatever leverage the defender has on them. So I appreciate that. And it's a fluid game. So you're going to have to make adjustments. You're going to have to do it with routes where you have to, it's not going to be perfect. Like you might see with a card that you've drawn up, and the other team's playing too. And so you have to maneuver around, and it sure helps to have that chemistry when teams are showing you a bunch of different looks.
We'll go last to Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach, you've had a little while now to work with Ryan Poles, with him going to Chicago. What are the Chiefs losing in Ryan, and what do you see that the Bears are gaining in him as a GM?
Yeah, so I think the Bears are in a nice position with him. He's smart. He knows football. He knows players. So he works hard and he's organized. So that's what they're getting, and that's pretty good intangible things to be putting in your department there. So he's good with people also, and I think he'll do a nice job. I'm happy for him, and we've got great guys here. So we'll Veach does a great job of hiring people here, and so other guys will have an opportunity to step up and do their thing. So I think the Bears are gaining a tremendous person and great guy for that position.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, good. Thank you.
All right, well, Patrick Mahomes coming your way next.